Hola clase y bienvenidos otra vez. Hoy vamos a hablar un poco más sobre el presente y de hecho vamos a hablar sobre los verbos irregulares en el presente. Okay, so during our last video, we recapped the present tense. We talked about its formation, where the stem changes occur, and how to conjugate reflexive verbs in the present tense. Today we're going to talk about 14 irregular verbs in the present. I would like you to go to your yellow note guide and find the section labeled Irregular Present Tense Verbs. In that section you will see 14 verbs that we're going to cover today. The first three, ser, estar, and ir, are completely irregular, whereas the other 11 have an irregular yo, and 3 of them have a stem change with that irregular yo. As far as notes go, it's up to you whether you would like to write out the entire conjugation for every verb or whether you can just write the irregular yo form. They're your notes, so it's completely up to you. Ok, vamos a empezar rápidamente con la formación. Okay, so quickly before we get into these, let's look at our present tense endings. We know that for an AR verb, our endings are o, as, a, amos, ais, an. For ER verbs, our endings are o, es, e, hemos, es, en. And for IR verbs, our endings are o, es, e, imos, is, en. Okay, we will use all of these endings, AR, ER, and IR, for the 11 verbs that just contain the irregular yo. Okay, first verb we're going to talk about today is the verb ser. Ser significa to be. Its conjugation, soy, eres, es, somos, sois, son. Remember that both ser and estar mean to be, so when you go to use the verb ser, remember the acronym doctor. You use ser anytime you're describing someone, talking about their occupation, talking about a characteristic of someone or something, talking about the time, whether it's 1 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock, or it's Friday, talking about someone's origin, or the relationship of people or things. Okay, let's go to the verb estar. Estar also means to be. Its conjugation is estoy, estás, está, estamos, estáis, están. The acronym for using estar is place. Remember to use estar anytime you're talking about the position of something or a person, the location of a person or something, action, so that is present progressive, estoy hablando, we called it inging, talking about the condition of someone or someone's emotion. We also talked about the saying that how you're feeling and where you are is when you use the verb estar. Okay? The next verb, ir. Ir means to go. Its conjugation, voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. I wanted to sneak in just a reminder, when do we use ir and how do we use it? 2 main usages. If you're saying that you're going somewhere, don't forget that it's not just ir, it's ir plus a. Un ejemplo, vamos a un restaurante. We are going to a restaurant. Another very common use of ir is ir plus a plus the infinitive. You can use this to talk about your future actions and saying that you're going to do something. So miremos un ejemplo. Voy a estudiar en la biblioteca. I'm going to study in the library. Okay, so for those first 3 verbs, because they're completely irregular, do make sure you have their meaning written down in English, and probably best to go ahead and write their entire conjugations. Okay, let's move on to the next 11 that have an irregular yo. The first 3 of those 11, tener, venir, and decir, all carry a stem change. Okay, so you may want to write that down on your paper. Okay, repasemos. El primer verbo es tener. Tener means to have, and it's got a stem change e to ie. Its conjugation, tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, tenés, tienen. You'll notice the stem change occurs just in the boot, as we talked about in the last video. But there's not a stem change in the yo form. Remember that irregular yos will trump the stem change. Okay, ahora miremos el verbo venir. Venir means to come. It's got a stem change E to IE. Let's look at its conjugation. Vengo, vienes, viene, venimos, venís, vienen. Again, stem changer occurs here in the boot, but the irregular yo will trump the stem change. Okay, next verb, decir. Decir means to say or tell. It has a stem change, E to I. Let's look at its conjugation. Digo, dices, dice, decimos, decís, dicen. Here is your stem change in the boot and the irregular yo, digo. Okay, so you'll notice the three verbs we just did, all stem changers, and they're all go verbs. Okay, the next verb in our list is dar. Dar means to give. Its irregular yo form is doy. From there, the rest of the verb is completely regular. So dar is an AR verb, so it has AR endings. Its conjugation, doy, das, da, damos, dais, dan. You'll notice it does not carry an accent in the vosotros form. Next verb, saber. Remember that saber is to know information and facts. Its irregular yo form is say. From there, the rest of the verb is regular. It's an ER verb, so thus it has ER endings. Its conjugation, sé, sabes, sabe, sabemos, sabes, saben. Next verb, traer. Traer means to bring. It has an irregular yo. The rest of the verb is regular. ER verb, thus it has ER endings. Its conjugation, traigo, traes, trae, traemos, traes, traen. Hacer is our next verb. Hacer means to do or to make. Has an irregular yo, also a go verb. And other than its irregular yo, it's an ER verb, so it has ER endings. Its conjugation, hago, haces, hace, hacemos, haces, hacen. The next verb, poner. Poner means to put, place, or set. It has an irregular yo, it's a go verb. And just like our other ones, it's an ER verb, so it has ER endings. Its conjugation, pongo, pones, pone, ponemos, pones, ponen. Salir is our next verb, to leave or to go out. Has an irregular yo, it's a go verb. And notice that it's an IR verb, so it has IR endings. Its conjugation, salgo, sales, sale, salimos, salís, salen. Conocer. Conocer means to know or be familiar with a person or a place. Okay, it's irregular in that it has a Z to keep its pronunciation. Okay, if you don't put this Z, conocer in the yo form is conozco. We don't want conozco. That's a hard C sound in our last syllable. We want conocer, a soft C. Thus, the C will go to ZC, pronounced as conozco. Okay, let's look at its conjugation. Again, an ER verb, so it will have ER endings other than the irregular yo. Conozco, conoces, conoce, conocemos, conoces, y conocen. And our last verb of today is the verb ver. Ver means to see, has an irregular yo in that it holds its E. Okay? So instead of dropping the ER and this yo form just being bo, B-O, it holds the E to be veo. Other than that, completely regular. Veo, ves, ve, vemos, ves, ven. Okay, so what do you need to know from today's lesson? You've got 14 verbs you're responsible for knowing. 3 of them are completely irregular. The other 11 have irregular yos. 3 of those 11 have an irregular yo with a stem change. Okay, I hope that was a good enough review for you today and you feel comfortable using the present tense. We'll continue to use it and see it in our book, El viaje de su vida. Que pasen un buen día.